Florida, General Knowledge Test. Subscribe our channel for latest practice tests. For best practice, download free Android or iOS application. Links are in description below.
Question: What is a common cause of tire fires? Options are: Option A, underinflated tires, Option B, overinflated tires, Option C, cold tires, Option D, all of the above.
Answer is underinflated tires. Explanation is underinflated tires and dual tires that touch are the most common causes of tire fires.
Question: How many tie downs are required for a 20-foot load? Options are: Option A, 3, Option B, 1, Option C, 2, Option D, 4.
Answer is 2. Explanation is, the rule is that you should have 1 tie down per 10 feet of cargo, and you must have at least 2 per load, regardless of the length. So for 20 feet, you should have 2 tie downs.
Question: If you double your speed, how much more distance will it take to brake to a stop? Options are: Option A, 4 times as much, Option B, 1.5 times as much, Option C, twice as much, Option D, 3 times as much.
Answer is 4 times as much. Explanation is, when you double your speed, your braking distance increases by roughly the square of the speed increase, to about 4 times as much as before. For example, increasing your speed from 15 to 30 miles per hour will increase your stopping distance from 46 to 148 feet.
Question: Why should you use a helper when you're backing your vehicle? Options are: Option A, to check your style of driving, Option B, because it's the law, Option C, because every truck has blind spots, Option D, to make sure you don't damage your truck.
Answer is, because every truck has blind spots. Explanation is, you should use a helper when you are backing because you will be dealing with blind spots that you cannot see. Before you start, the two of you should agree on a set of hand signals for go and, most importantly, stop.
Question: To transport cargo safely, which of the following are you not responsible for? Options are: Option A, making sure that cargo is properly secured, Option B, ensuring the freshness of sealed cargo, Option C, ensuring the cargo's safety, Option D, recognizing possible overloads.
Answer is, ensuring the freshness of sealed cargo. Explanation is, you are not responsible for the state of sealed cargo, nor can you inspect it. You are only responsible for the safety of the cargo, ensuring that it is balanced, secured, and not overloaded, and does not get in the way of emergency equipment.
Question: If you are driving a 30-foot vehicle at 55 miles per hour, you should leave how many seconds of following distance? Options are: Option A, 5 seconds, Option B, 6 seconds, Option C, 3 seconds, Option D, 4 seconds.
Answer is 4 seconds. Explanation is, the formula for following distance is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle, plus an extra second if you are traveling over 40 miles per hour. Therefore, for a 30-foot vehicle traveling at 55 miles per hour, you should leave the following distance of 4 seconds.
Question: What is the best way to figure out how many seconds of following distance you have? Options are: Option A, send a text message to a friend to text you back in 10 seconds. See how far you have traveled in that time. Option B, get 1/4 closer to the vehicle in front of you, then back off again. Multiply how long this took you by 4 to give the following distance. Option C, wait until the vehicle ahead of you passes a shadow or a landmark, then count the seconds until you reach it. Option D, use the stopwatch on your cell phone to determine how long it takes you to reach a mile marker after the vehicle in front of you has passed it.
Answer is, wait until the vehicle ahead of you passes a shadow or landmark, then count the seconds until you reach it. Explanation is, count how many seconds it takes you to reach some stationary object after the vehicle in front of you has passed it. You can count seconds as follows: 1001, 1002, The other three choices here involve dangerous distractions or don't work at all. Note that you should increase your following distance in heavy traffic, in bad weather, with heavy vehicles, or at higher speeds.
Question: letting the air out of hot tires. Options are: Option A is a good idea because the extra pressure will be relieved. Option B will cool them down. You will be able to continue your trip sooner. Option C is a bad idea because when the tires cool off, the pressure will be too low. Option D will have no effect at all.
Answer is a bad idea because when the tires cool off, the pressure will be too low. Explanation is, when tires get hot, the air pressure increases. However, relieving that extra pressure will leave the air pressure too low when the tires cool again, and then the tires may catch fire or blow out. If your tires are too hot to touch, stop until they have cooled down.
Question: if you feel drowsy while driving, what should you do? Options are: Option A, drink a cup of coffee. Option B, drink energy drinks. Option C, pull off the road and get some sleep. Option D, open the windows for some fresh air.
Answer is, pull off the road and get some sleep. Explanation is, if you are drowsy, cold air, fresh air, or caffeinated beverages may make you feel more alert only momentarily. The only real solution is to get off the road as soon as possible and get some real rest.
Question: a truck's braking distance is shorter when it's empty than when it's fully loaded. True or false? Options are: Option A, it cannot be determined without more information about the cargo. Option B, false. Option C, it cannot be determined without more information about the truck. Option D, true.
Answer is, false. Explanation is, trucks brake best when they're used as they were designed, to carry a properly balanced load. Empty trucks actually have longer braking distances than loaded trucks because they have less traction.
Question: once you start your trip, you must inspect the securement of your cargo within. Options are: Option A, 25 miles. Option B, an hour. Option C, 50 miles. Option D, 10 miles.
Answer is, 50 miles. Explanation is, once you start your trip, you must inspect the securement of your cargo within 50 miles and then every 3 hours or 150 miles thereafter.
Question: getting only or less of sleep the night before your trip will triple your risk of an accident. Options are: Option A, 4 hours. Option B, 2 hours. Option C, 8 hours. Option D, 6 hours.
Answer is, 6 hours. Explanation is, getting only 6 hours or less of sleep the night before your trip will triple your risk of an accident. Adults really need 8 to 9 hours of sleep to maintain alertness.
Question: what is the definition of a hazard? Options are: Option A, something you can safely ignore. Option B, something you must stop for. Option C, a road user or road condition that presents a possible danger. Option D, something you can easily avoid.
Answer is, a road user or road condition that presents a possible danger. Explanation is, a hazard is a road user or road condition that presents a possible danger. A hazard is something that can go wrong but shouldn't if you've been vigilant.
Question: hazardous materials placards are. Options are: Option A, signs that help tax collectors determine how much to tax a hazardous cargo. Option B, signs on the inside of the vehicle that remind the driver of what he or she is carrying. Option C, signs that warn the public to stay at least 1,000 feet from the vehicle. Option D, signs on the outside of the vehicle that identify the hazard class of the cargo.
Answer is, signs on the outside of the vehicle that identify the hazard class of the cargo. Explanation is, hazardous materials placards are for regulated signs on the outside of the vehicle that identify the hazard class of the cargo for those who need to know, such as emergency service personnel or those who load and unload cargo.
Question: what is the best way to check what is going on behind and to the sides of your vehicle? Options are: Option A, check your reflection in other vehicles. Option B, check your mirrors regularly. Option C, stop every 50 miles and look around. Option D, turn your head to check your blind spots.
Answer is, check your mirrors regularly. Explanation is, to know what's going on behind and to the sides of your vehicle, check your mirrors regularly while you drive, and check them even more often in special situations. Before you start to drive, adjust your mirrors so that each mirror shows a different part of your vehicle.
Question, which of the following is not a key steering system component? Options are, Option A, axle, Option B, steering wheel, Option C, gearbox, Option D, tie rod.
Answer is, axle. Explanation is, each axle is, of course, an integral part of your vehicle. However, it is not a key part of the steering system, which includes the other choices, the steering column, the arm and knuckle, the hydraulic fluid reservoir, the pitman arm, and the spindle.
Question, an A, B, C type fire extinguisher can work on which of the following types of fires? Options are, Option A, ordinary combustibles, Option B, gasoline, Option C, electrical equipment, Option D, all of the above.
Answer is, all of the above. Explanation is, make sure to use the right type of fire extinguisher to put out a fire. Class A fires involve ordinary combustibles such as wood, paper, or cloth. Class B fires involve oily liquids such as grease or gasoline. Class C fires involve electrical equipment. Class D fires involve combustible metals such as magnesium.
Question, why should you cover your cargo? Options are, Option A, to protect your cargo from bad weather, Option B, because many states require it, Option C, to protect individuals from any spilled cargo, Option D, for all of the above reasons.
Answer is, for all of the above reasons. Explanation is, there are several reasons to cover your cargo, including protecting other people and the cargo itself. In addition, it will help you comply with regulations in several states. Florida law requires you to cover loose cargo to prevent any part of it from blowing off, falling off, or otherwise escaping from your vehicle. FL Stat Section 316.520.
Question, in which of the following conditions is hydroplaning most likely? Options are, Option A, when you are on a bridge right before a freeze is forecast, Option B, when you're in a shady area the morning after a freeze, Option C, when there is standing water on the road, Option D, when the temperature is below freezing but the road looks wet.
Answer is, when there is standing water on the road. Explanation is, hydroplaning occurs when there is standing water on a roadway. At higher speeds, the tires cannot channel the water away very well, and your tires may start to lose contact with the road and ride over the water like a set of water skis. This can lead to a total loss of braking and steering control. To prevent the onset of hydroplaning, slow down. Icy surfaces can also lead to skids but not by hydroplaning.
Question, before transporting a sealed load, you must check. Options are, Option A, a small sample of whatever is inside, Option B, a picture of whatever is inside, Option C, that you don't exceed gross weight or axle weight limits, Option D, all of the above.
Answer is, that you don't exceed gross weight or axle weight limits. Explanation is, while you cannot actually inspect sealed loads, it's still your responsibility to ensure that you do not exceed your axle weight limits or gross weight restrictions, so check them both.
Question, how can you determine if your vehicle is equipped with an anti-lock braking system ABS? Options are, Option A, check for a yellow ABS malfunction lamp on the instrument panel, Option B, look for wheel speed sensor wires that are coming from the rear of your brakes, Option C, check if your vehicle was manufactured after March 1, 1998, such vehicles are required to have the panel light, Option D, all of the above can work.
Answer is, all of the above can work. Explanation is, today, most vehicles with ABS have a light on the instrument panel that will light up briefly when the vehicle is started to alert you about the ABS, or you can check for wires from your brakes.
Question: an anti-lock braking system ABS. Options are: Option A, lets you drive faster. Option B, shortens your stopping distance. Option C, does not change the way you normally brake. Option D, increases your vehicle's stopping power.
Answer is, does not change the way you normally brake. Explanation is, ABS does not have much effect on your everyday driving. It does not affect your braking capability or necessarily shorten your stopping distance. It just helps you keep control of your vehicle by activating when your wheels are about to lock up.
Question: when you start to drive down a steep downgrade, which of the following should influence your choice of speed? Options are: Option A, the road conditions. Option B, the total weight of your vehicle and its cargo. Option C, the steepness of the grade. Option D, all of the above.
Answer is, all of the above. Explanation is, when choosing a safe speed for driving down a steep downgrade, consider its steepness, its length, the road and weather conditions, and the weight of your vehicle and its cargo.
Question: what is the main reason to perform a vehicle inspection? Options are: Option A, to make sure the paint is not chipped. Option B, to check the cleanliness of your vehicle. Option C, to make sure your vehicle is safe. Option D, for good public relations.
Answer is, to make sure your vehicle is safe. Explanation is, the main purpose of a vehicle inspection is to determine whether your vehicle is safe enough to drive. This includes your safety and that of other road users. In addition, discovering defects during a vehicle inspection can help avert a costly or even dangerous breakdown on the road.
Question: if you are being tailgated, you should. Options are: Option A, decrease your following distance. Option B, increase your following distance. Option C, hit the brakes. Option D, speed up.
Answer is, increase your following distance. Explanation is, if you are being tailgated, avoid sudden changes or tricks such as flashing your brake lights. Instead, increase your following distance to give both you and the tailgater more space to react to hazards. This may also encourage the tailgater to pass you. Don't speed up in an attempt to appease or outdistance the tailgater. No speed is too fast for some tailgaters.
Question: if you don't have enough weight on the front axle, options are: Option A, you may experience tire failure. Option B, your drive wheels may spin. Option C, you may not be able to steer safely. Option D, all of the above may occur.
Answer is, you may not be able to steer safely. Explanation is, less weight may mean less grip of the road. Insufficient weight on the front axle may make it harder to steer safely. Underloading the driving axles increases the chance that the drive wheels will spin.
Question: which of the following should you not do if you experience a tire failure? Options are: Option A, hold the steering wheel firmly. Option B, stay off the brake pedal. Option C, be aware that a tire has failed. Option D, brake hard and immediately.
Answer is, brake hard and immediately. Explanation is, hard braking could cause your vehicle to go out of control, so brake gently only after the vehicle has slowed down and you have regained control.
Question: you should inspect wheel bearing seals for. Options are: Option A, leaks. Option B, tears. Option C, broken leaf springs. Option D, twisted axles.
Answer is, leaks. Explanation is, the most likely problem with wheel bearing seals is leaking, so you should check for grease on the wheels and any visible evidence of cracks or leaks.
Question: when you're about to start down a steep downgrade, you should. Options are: Option A, release the brakes. Option B, shift into a low gear. Option C, release the clutch. Option D, accelerate.
Answer is, shift into a low gear. Explanation is, when you're about to start down a steep downgrade, shift into a low gear and use engine braking to slow your vehicle. Don't try to downshift after your speed has already built up. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear. You may not even be able to get back into any gear and all engine braking effect will be lost.
Question: avoid swinging left before you turn right because options are option A, another vehicle may try to pass you on your right, option B, you may move into an opposing lane, option C, it won't help you through the intersection, option D, it's against the law.
Answer is, another vehicle may try to pass you on your right. Explanation is, if you swing wide to the left before turning right, a driver may try to pass you on your right while you're turning, which can result in an accident. Instead, make the right turn with the rear of your vehicle as close to the curb as possible and turn wide as you complete the turn. This will deny drivers room on the right to try to pass you.
Question: which of the following is most likely to cause a vehicle fire? Options are option A, short circuits and loose connections, option B, spilled fuel cleaned up quickly and properly, option C, driver smoking in a rest area, option D, flammable cargo with proper ventilation.
Answer is, short circuits and loose connections. Explanation is, smoking, flammable cargo, and spilled fuel are potentially dangerous. Properly managed, however, they should not start a fire except under special circumstances such as a short circuit or loose connection.
Question: the most important hand signal that you and a helper should agree on is, options are option A, stop, semicolon option B, go forward, semicolon option C, go backward, option D, turn left.
Answer is, stop. Explanation is, unfortunately, once an accident happens, you can't take it back. That's why it's absolutely essential for you and your helper to have a clear hand signal for stop. That way, you'll be able to quickly stop what you are doing before an accident can occur.
Question: the minimum tire tread depth for the front tires is, options are option A, 1/32 inch, option B, 1/2 inch, option C, 3/8 inch, option D, 4/32 inch.
Answer is 4/32 inch. Explanation is, front tires require a tread depth of at least 4/32 inch. All other tires require a tread depth of at least 2/32 inch.
Question: in Florida, if you are convicted of drug driving that resulted in an accident, you may face which of the following penalties? Options are option A, a fine, option B, a jail sentence, option C, loss of commercial driving privileges, option D, all of the above.
Answer is, all of the above. Explanation is, under Florida law, if you are convicted of drug driving that resulted in an accident involving property damage, you will face a fine of up to $1,000, a jail sentence of up to 1 year, or both. If the accident resulted in injury to someone, the penalties will be more severe. Furthermore, you will be disqualified from driving CMVs for at least 1 year. If you are convicted of this offense a second time, you will be disqualified from driving CMVs permanently, ending your career in commercial driving. FL Stat Section 316.193, FL Stat Section 322.61, FL Stat Section 775.082, FL Stat Section 775.083.
Question: total stopping distance equals, options are option A, reaction distance plus braking distance, option B, perception distance plus reaction distance, option C, perception distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance, option D, reaction distance plus braking distance plus signal distance.
Answer is, perception distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance. Explanation is, total stopping distance is the sum of your perception distance, how far your vehicle goes from when you see the hazard until your brain processes it, reaction distance, how far the vehicle goes from when your brain orders your foot to take action until your foot actually starts to brake, and braking distance, how far the vehicle continues to travel once you apply the brake.
Question: signs of a drunk driver include all of the following except, options are option A, running stop signs or red lights, option B, driving too fast or too slowly, Option C, straddling two lanes. Option D, reacting quickly to hazards.
Answer is, reacting quickly to hazards. Explanation is, alcohol can impair a driver's coordination and judgment and increase his or her reaction time. As a result, the driver may straddle two lanes, weave from lane to lane, fail to obey traffic laws, drive dangerously fast, or, in an attempt to stay in control, drive very slowly.
Question: where should you place your warning devices if you must stop on a one-way road or divided highway? Options are: Option A, 20 feet, 50 feet, and 100 feet toward approaching traffic. Option B, 100 feet, 200 feet, and 300 feet toward approaching traffic. Option C, 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet toward approaching traffic. Option D, 50 feet, 100 feet, and 150 feet toward approaching traffic.
Answer is 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet toward approaching traffic. Explanation is, this is required by Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulation 49 CFR 392.22. This regulation also specifies where to place warning devices on other types of roadways such as undivided two-way roads and curves. These situations are also covered in Section 2.5.2 of the Florida CDL Handbook.
Question: under Florida law, which of the following drivers must hold a CDL? Options are: Option A farmer carrying fresh produce to the market. Option B, a driver of a military vehicle. Option C, a long-haul trucker carrying fresh produce. Option D, all of the above.
Answer is, a long-haul trucker carrying fresh produce. Explanation is, military drivers, emergency personnel, farmers, and farm employees, but not those employed to drive vehicles for farms, are exempt from needing a CDL. Also, someone who drives a recreational vehicle or straight truck for non-commercial purposes, e.g., to move the driver's own personal property, is exempt from needing a CDL.
Question: what can you do at an accident scene to help avoid another accident? Options are: Option A, leave your vehicle, do nothing, and get to higher ground. Option B, stay in your vehicle and do nothing until help arrives. Option C, set out warning devices to keep other vehicles from running into the accident scene. Option D, have a drink to calm your nerves.
Answer is, set out warning devices to keep other vehicles from running into the accident scene. Explanation is, unless you have been injured, it is your responsibility to ensure that others can see your vehicle at the accident scene. Set out your warning devices as quickly as possible to avoid further accidents such as a pile-up.
Question: your vehicle's safety equipment must include. Options are: Option A, spare brake drums. Option B, a spare front axle. Option C, spare electrical fuses, but only if your vehicle has circuit breakers. Option D, a fire extinguisher.
Answer is, a fire extinguisher. Explanation is, your vehicle's safety equipment must include warning devices, such as reflective triangles, and a properly charged and rated fire extinguisher. You must also have spare electrical fuses, but only if your vehicle uses fuses instead of circuit breakers.
Question: how many reflective warning triangles must you carry with you for emergencies? Options are: Option A, 5, Option B, 4, Option C, 3, Option D, 6.
Answer is 3. Explanation is, your truck's emergency equipment must include warning devices such as 3 reflective red triangles, 3 liquid burning flares, or 6 fuses.
Question: according to the Florida CDL Handbook, how far ahead should you look while driving? Options are: Option A, 5 to 10 seconds. Option B, 10 to 12 seconds. Option C, 7 to 12 seconds. Option D, 12 to 15 seconds.
Answer is 12 to 15 seconds. Explanation is, according to the Florida CDL Handbook, you should look ahead the distance that your CMV will travel in 12 to 15 seconds. At the slower speeds of city driving, your CMV will travel about 1 block in 15 seconds. At 60 miles per hour, your CMV will travel a quarter mile, 1,320 feet, in 15 seconds.
Question: which of the following statements about retarders are true? Options are: Option A, retarders can reduce brake wear. Option B, retarders apply braking power to the drive wheels. Option C, retarders make a skid more likely when traction is poor. Option D, all of the above are true.
Answer is, all of the above are true. Explanation is, retarders, of which there are several types, help slow your vehicle, reducing the need for braking. However, they can make a skid more likely in inclement weather or whenever your wheels have poor traction. Therefore, you should turn off your retarder in poor weather.
Question: what will help a drunk sober up? Options are: Option A, time. Option B, fresh air. Option C, a glass of water. Option D, coffee.
Answer is, time. Explanation is, your body breaks down alcohol at a predictable rate. Typically, this is 1 standard drink per hour, where 1 standard drink equals 1.5 ounces of hard liquor, 5 ounces of wine, or 12 ounces of beer. Neither coffee nor fresh air nor water can increase that rate. You need to wait until the alcohol has been broken down.
Question: to shift up, you should release the accelerator, push in the clutch and shift into neutral, and then, options are: Option A, press the accelerator. Option B, push in the clutch again. Option C, release the clutch. Option D, shift.
Answer is, release the clutch. Explanation is, to shift up with double clutching, release the accelerator, press the clutch and shift into neutral at the same time, release the clutch, let the engine and gears slow to the required RPM for the next gear, press the clutch and shift into a higher gear at the same time, then release the clutch and press the accelerator at the same time.
Question: which of the following is most likely to get stuck on raised railroad crossings? Options are: Option A, single axle bobtail tractor. Option B, a straight truck. Option C, a single axle tractor pulling a trailer whose landing gear is set to accommodate it. Option D, a car carrier.
Answer is, a car carrier. Explanation is, the 2 types of combination vehicles most likely to get stuck at a raised railroad crossing are slung units, car carriers, lowboys, moving vans, etc., and single axle tractors that are pulling a long trailer whose landing gear is set to accommodate a tandem axle tractor. Be very careful when driving such vehicles at railroad crossings.
Question: in Florida, to pass an emergency vehicle that is stopped on the side of a multi-lane roadway, you must move into a non-adjacent lane, if it's safe to do so. Otherwise, you must slow down to. Options are: Option A, 5 miles per hour. Option B, 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. Option C, 10 miles per hour. Option D, 15 miles per hour below the speed limit.
Answer is, 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. Explanation is, under Florida's move over law, when you encounter an emergency vehicle, sanitation vehicle, utility vehicle, or tow truck that is stopped with its flashing lights on, you must move into a non-adjacent lane if possible, leaving at least 1 vacant lane between you and the vehicle. If this is impossible, e.g., no other lanes in your direction, or unsafe, you must slow down until you have passed the vehicle. If the posted speed limit is greater than 20 miles per hour, you must slow down to 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. Otherwise, you must slow down to 5 miles per hour. Note, all U.S. states now have their own move-over laws, but some of them require drivers to do different things. When traveling out of state, always check the local traffic laws.
Question: when going down a downgrade in a vehicle with an automatic transmission, you should. Options are: Option A, select a low range. Option B, select a high range. Option C, change your range in the middle of the downgrade. Option D, just keep applying your brakes.
Answer is, select a low range. Explanation is, if you just keep applying the brakes to control your speed on a steep descent, the brakes may fade, lose their effectiveness. Instead, if your vehicle has an automatic transmission, select a low range that prevents the transmission from shifting up beyond the selected gear. This will generate a braking effect to slow the vehicle, known as engine braking. The lower the gear, the greater the engine braking effect. Apply the brakes only when engine braking is insufficient or you want to stop.
Question: why should you keep your tires properly inflated? Options are: Option A, it will make the ride quieter. Option B, you'll be driving a lot faster. Option C, your tires will last longer. Option D, you will never go into a skid.
Answer is, your tires will last longer. Explanation is, keep your tires properly inflated. Use a tire pressure gauge to get an accurate reading. Overinflated tires are more likely to fail prematurely. Low tire pressures cause faster tire wear and reduced cornering ability and increase the effect of hydroplaning. Underinflation also causes increased flexing of the tire, which increases tire temperature. Tires that overheat can catch fire. Of course, even properly inflated tires are no guarantee against skids.
Question: how long does it take a typical tractor-trailer to clear a double railroad track? Options are: Option A, more than 15 seconds. Option B, more than 30 seconds. Option C, 14 seconds. Option D, 10 seconds.
Answer is, more than 15 seconds. Explanation is, you can expect it to take more than 15 seconds for a typical tractor-trailer to clear a double track and at least 14 seconds to clear a single track. Thanks for watching.